The establishment of new business contacts, launch of negotiations on future commercial deals, and the start of promising mutually beneficial projects. Let me stress, most importantly, when we conceived and proposed this forum, it was initially intended to show what multifaceted opportunities our cooperation can offer, and to make it clear the Russian delegation did not only come in order to discuss energy issues and sign contracts for the supplies of oil and gas. What we want is development of our multifaceted relations with India on various fields. His Excellency Prime Minister stressed on many occasions in our private talks that India has vast and growing opportunities in many fields, but up until now they haven't been used to the extent both parties want to see it. That is exactly the reason why we convened this forum. I'm speaking frankly. First and foremost, it focuses on the opportunities of the Indian economy, and we want to familiarize our economic operators with these opportunities so that both parties can satisfy the needs of each other. It is essential since those are solid and multifaceted ties between Russian and Indian businesses that are one of the main pillars of special and privileged strategic partnership of our countries. Indeed, Russia and India are long-time trade partners. Trade volumes are growing at a sustainable pace, and over the past 3 years we saw a record increase of up to 80%. As a result, last year the Russian-Indian trade volume reached $64 billion. At the same time, it's obvious that there are vast opportunities for further increase of bilateral trade and investment. Russia and India have big consumer markets and an impressive economic, technological and resource potential. Once again, I would like to stress that under the leadership of His Excellency Modi, India is conducting an absolutely independent and sovereign policy, and at the same time achieves very good results in the economic field. Today, the Indian economy is one of the fastest growing in the world. Figures speak for themselves. Over a decade, the GDP of the country has almost doubled, and in terms of the purchasing power parity, it increased by 2.5 times. Thanks to the sound economic policy and such landmark initiatives by Prime Minister Modi as Make in India program, India is strengthening its technological sovereignty. The Indian processing and light industry, IT sector, and pharmaceuticals take leading positions in the world. In Russia, we study the Indian experience with interest, and it is used in implementation of our national programs of import substitution and localization of products with high value added. The leadership of two countries, and Prime Minister Modi and I in person, pay particular attention to deepening multifaceted economic ties between Russia and India. Following today's negotiations, we adopted the program for the development of Russian and Indian economic cooperation. This comprehensive document aims at making sure that we can achieve the goal Mr. Modi and I set for ourselves, so that we can increase the trade volume by 2030 to $100 billion. It requires most active efforts of business communities from both countries aimed at further expanding and diversification of trade volumes and building balanced structure of reciprocal trade. Given the significant trade deficit of Russia, the Russian business, our companies, are ready to manifold increase the purchase from India of a widest range of goods and services. We are interested in it, dear friends, because it makes our economy more resilient. From their part, Indian entrepreneurs, as was demonstrated by the forum, are equally interested in trading with Russia. They have something to offer, so the synergy is obvious. So it would only be logical that projects contributing to greater supplies of Indian products to Russia receive priority attention in implementation of the new export support program recently adopted by the government of Mr. Modi. For my part, I would like to assure the business circles that all useful initiatives aimed at development of mutual economic exchanges will be further supported by Russian ministries and authorities. No doubt, the key role in creating conditions for a truly free trade between our countries is played by the Intergovernmental Commission. It is important that together in close cooperation we eliminate the Romanian customs and administrative barriers which stay in the way of reciprocal movement of goods, services and capitals. In this regard, a strong impetus, as it seems, could be given by rapid signature of a preferential trade agreement between India and the Eurasian Economic Union. Free trade is unthinkable without a resilient system of bilateral settlements and reliable payment and insurance mechanisms. Tangible advantages are offered by the use of national currencies. It makes it possible to ensure uninterrupted financial transactions regardless of external developments. And obviously, accessibility of transport and logistics communications plays a crucial role. A lot is already being done in this regard. Implementation of the project to create the corridor south-north from Russia and Belarus to the Indian Ocean is ongoing, and infrastructure modernization of the Northern Sea route is being modernized in order to use it for the supplies of Indian goods to the world markets. Obviously, the cooperation of our two countries should not be limited to trade alone. We should move on and enhance our industrial cooperation. Together we should create new cutting-edge products and strengthen technological alliances. First and foremost in such advanced and knowledge-intensive sectors as digitalization, autonomous robotics, pharmaceuticals, including synthesis of efficient pharmaceuticals and production of high-tech medicine equipment. We are ready for broad cooperation with India in the field of artificial intelligence, where our countries have already advanced a lot. Russia is interested in participating in the artificial intelligence scheduled to take place in India in February 2026. We will send a representative delegation. In conclusion, I would like to stress once again further strengthening of Russian-Indian trade and investment ties and close cooperation between business communities effectively contributes to economic growth and development and greater well-being of our citizens, and therefore it meets the fundamental interests of our countries and peoples. I would like to wish to the participants and organizers of the forum all the best. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Excellency, for sharing your vision on the immense potential of bilateral trade. Excellencies, now I respectfully invite Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to deliver his concluding remarks.
Your Excellency, my friend राष्ट्रपति पुतिन, भारत और रूस बिजनेस के सभी लीडर्स, देवी और सज्जनों, नमस्कार। इंडिया रशिया बिजनेस फोरम, मैं समझता हूँ कि राष्ट्रपति पुतिन का ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण इनिशिएटिव रहा कि इतना बड़ा डेलीगेशन लेकर के आज इस कार्यक्रम का हिस्सा बने हैं और आप सबका मैं हृदय से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं और मेरा भी आप सबके बीच आना एक बहुत प्रसन्नता का अवसर है। इस फोरम से जुड़ने के लिए और अपने बहुमूल्य विचार साझा करने के लिए मैं मेरे मित्र राष्ट्रपति पुतिन का हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। बिजनेस के लिए सिंप्लीफाइड प्रिडिक्टेबल मैकेनिज्म बनाए जा रहे हैं। भारत और यूरेशियन इकोनॉमिक यूनियन के बीच एफटीए पर चर्चा शुरू हो गई है और साथियों, हम अलग अलग विषयों को लेकर के भी, जैसा अभी पीयूष जी ने उल्लेख किया था और जैसा राष्ट्रपति जी ने जो संभावनाओं का वर्णन किया है, उसे देखते हुए हम बहुत कम समय में बहुत बड़े लक्ष्य हासिल कर सकते हैं। बिजनेस हो या डिप्लोमेसी, किसी भी साझेदारी की नींव आपसी विश्वास है। भारत रूस संबंधों की सबसे बड़ी शक्ति यही विश्वास है। यह हमारे साझे प्रयासों को दिशा भी देता है और गति भी देता है। यही वह लॉन्च पैड है जो हमें नए सपनों, नई आकांक्षाओं की उड़ान भरने के लिए प्रेरित करता है। पिछले वर्ष राष्ट्रपति पुतिन और मैंने 2030 तक द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को $100 बिलियन का उस लक्ष्य को पार करने का हमने निर्धार किया था। लेकिन कल से मेरी जो राष्ट्रपति पुतिन से बात हो रही है और जिस प्रकार के पोटेंशियल नजर आ रहे हैं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि हमें 2030 तक इंतजार करना पड़ेगा। ये मैं साफ देख रहा हूं। हम उस लक्ष्य को समय से पहला पूरा करने के संकल्प के साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं और मेरा विश्वास बढ़ रहा है। टैरिफ और नॉन टैरिफ बैरियर्स को कम किया जा रहा है, लेकिन साथियों, इन प्रयासों की असली शक्ति आप जैसे बिजनेस लीडर्स हैं। आपकी ऊर्जा, आपका इनोवेशन और आपका एम्बिशन, यही हमारे संयुक्त भविष्य को आकार देते हैं। फ्रेंड, पिछले 11 वर्षों में भारत में जिस स्पीड और स्केल के साथ हमने बदलाव किए हैं, वह अभूतपूर्व हैं। रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म, इस सिद्धांत पर चलते हुए भारत तेजी से विश्व की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी बनने की और आगे बढ़ रहा है। और 11 वर्षों की इस रिफॉर्म यात्रा में हम न थके हैं, हम न रुके हैं। हमारे संकल्प पहले से ज्यादा मजबूत हैं और हम लक्ष्य की दिशा में बड़े आत्मविश्वास के साथ बहुत तेज गति से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। जीएसटी में नेक्स्ट जनरेशन रिफॉर्म और कंप्लायंसेस में कटौती, ऐसे कदम उठाए गए हैं ताकि ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को बढ़ावा मिले। डिफेंस और स्पेस को प्राइवेट सेक्टर के लिए खोल दिया गया है। इससे इन सेक्टर्स में नए अवसर बने हैं। अब हम सिविल न्यूक्लियर सेक्टर में भी नई संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलने जा रहे हैं। यह केवल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म नहीं, बल्कि माइंडसेट रिफॉर्म्स हैं। इन रिफॉर्म्स के पीछे एक ही संकल्प है, विकसित भारत। फ्रेंड्स, कल और आज आपके बीच बहुत ही उपयोगी और सार्थक चर्चाएं हुई हैं। मुझे खुशी है कि भारत और रूस के सहयोग के सभी क्षेत्रों का इस बैठक में प्रतिनिधित्व किया गया है। आप सभी के सुझावों और प्रयासों के लिए मैं आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। मेरी ओर से हमारे सहयोग को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए कुछ विचार आपके सामने मैं रखता हूं। पहला, लॉजिस्टिक्स और कनेक्टिविटी के क्षेत्र में आज की बैठक में राष्ट्रपति पुतिन और मैंने हमारे कनेक्टिविटी के पूरे पोटेंशियल को रियलाइज करने पर बल दिया है। आईएनएसटीसी या तो फिर नॉर्दर्न सी रूट यानी चेन्नई व्लादिवोस्टोक कॉरिडोर, इन पर हम आगे बढ़ने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। जल्द ही इस दिशा में प्रगति होगी। इससे ट्रांजिट टाइम घटेगा, कॉस्ट कम होगी और बिजनेस के लिए नए मार्केट्स खुलेंगे। डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी की ताकत के साथ हम कस्टम्स, लॉजिस्टिक्स और रेगुलेटरी सिस्टम को वर्चुअल।
Now yours, we are welcoming retired Major General Sudhakarji. He's an international affairs expert and defense expert, joins us live from New Delhi for this discussion. Thank you very much, Major General, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, looking at all these developments that's been happening, what strategic priorities are guiding India's engagement with Russia?
Soma, good evening. Thank you so much. I would say strategic priorities, I would put it in very simplistic term.
Yes.
It is a futuristic, simplified, predictable method of doing business for progress, productivity, and growth, not only between Russia and India, but for the mankind. It's a very comprehensive thing that they have listed out, both the leaders, but allow me to dilate the issue in point form one by one. Essentially, the central points are related to trade, energy, and security. These are the central paradigms. And when you talk about trade, there are issues of tariff, non-tariff barriers, free trade agreement, and sea lanes of communication, extending the existing connectivity from Chennai to Vladivostok to North Sea, and trying to address the demands of the new markets, emerging markets. And when you talk about trade also, there are new avenues in order to address the imbalance in the trade between Russia and India. As we know that it's 68 billions of import by India from Russia, and India exports just about 5 billion per annum. So to address the imbalance, there are different options which are being exercised, such as you have new avenues are being opened up, from pharmaceutical to marine products to dairy. Also, there are talks which have already had breakthroughs of opening urea fertilizer industry by Indian entrepreneurs in Russia itself. And there are things like textile development, also in pharmaceutical they have joint vaccine development, cancer therapy, etc., etc. And in textile they are talking of natural fiber and the resilient textile options. So from artificial intelligence, robotics to energy storage, genomics, blockchain, and a host of other issues. But essentially, if I may have to actually sum it up in response to your first question, the priority is towards the trade to reach a target of $100 billion by 2030, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already given out his reflections, saying that perhaps we don't have to wait till 2030, looking at the trust and the confidence level between two nations. It may be achieved much earlier than that. Second issue is he has highlighted his concept of Operation 2 and linked it with reform, perform and transform, wherein it is not only the HR, but it is the participation, public-private participation, and making things transparent and accountable, so that it is performance-linked kind of a development which will take place. Defense and space, also Narendra Modi has highlighted that the private sectors have been opened up, ease of doing business has been further facilitated, and the civil nuclear energy reforms have been carried out so that the private participation can take place, etc., etc. But interestingly, I must highlight one issue is about the Russian language being given one of the key subjects to be taught to people so as to prepare Russia-ready human resource. Because almost close to 10 to 20 lakh people are expected to go to Russia to be employed. So this is a huge, huge departure from a very conservative kind of an involvement, although in past 1.5 years or so, the Indian diaspora in Russia, consisting of Indian labor, has surged by about 24.6%, meeting a figure of 2,234,000 people. This is going to take a quantum jump. Given the demographic profile of Russia, this definitely is going to give an impetus and a boost to the Russian economy, because the median age of Russia being what it is, around 40.9 or 41 years, and they have a aging population, the population being around 14 crores, and the war being ongoing. So the such kind of manpower, trained, skilled manpower will do wonders to the Russian economy. Second point is the tourism visa, the e-visa system in 30 days, which it has been indicated clearly by India, is also going to promote tourism both in India and also Russia. Innovation, co-production is going to be helping to achieve a turning point with regard to the technological revolution and meeting the futuristic demand, and the Make in India and be a partner of India to make for the world is a new concept and framework which Narendra Modi has outlined, and to meet the global challenges with permanent solution is another concept which has been given out as two nations come together with matching frequency and thought process as solution provider of the global challenges in the world order for the larger good of the mankind.
100%. Thank you very much, Major General Sudhakarji, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we stay on this topic now. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin, on his first India visit in 4 years, held a joint press conference with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi after talks at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Putin has praised India for its warm welcome and described their talks as constructive and said that they were held in a friendly atmosphere. Putin has also highlighted the close working dialogue between the two leaders, citing regular phone calls, and welcomed the impressive package of agreements signed during the visit aimed at boosting trade. On energy, Putin has reaffirmed Russia's commitment to continue uninterrupted shipments of oil, gas, and coal to India, despite U.S. pressure to halt imports from Moscow. He has also welcomed increased use of national currencies in bilateral trade and referenced a flagship project to build India's largest nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has thanked Putin for his unwavering commitment and emphasized energy security as a key pillar of India-Russia relations. He has also confirmed an economic cooperation program until 2030, covering trade, jobs, health, shipping, and chemicals, ensuring balanced and sustainable growth for both nations. Let's listen into what Russian President Vladimir Putin has shared.
Россия является надежным поставщиком энергоресурсов и всего, что необходимо для развития энергетики Индии. Мы готовы и далее обеспечивать бесперебойную поставку топлива для быстрорастущей индийской экономики.
Now we welcome back retired Major General Siddharkarji. He's an international affairs expert and defense expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Major General, for staying with us, and also thank you for sharing all the motives and joint ventures that is driving the current relationship of India and Russia moving forward. How significant is Russia's role in India's security strategy and defense as well as space sectors?
Very interesting question you have asked, though it falls partially in the classified domain. Let me tackle it under the security. You see, the global order has to be understood, the geopolitical churn which is ongoing phenomena as of now, and it has caused a tremendous amount of imbalance of power world over. And when you look at India in the South Asian subcontinent, there is a requirement for addressing this particular deficiency in terms of the arc of responsibility of China's domination, the Islamic fundamentalism, and US having come back trying to restore its status quo ante. There is a contestation between the stakeholders, major stakeholders, China and USA within the subcontinent itself. But the situation being what it is, Russia coming into the subcontinent or Indian Ocean region will be a welcome development. This has to be kept in mind. And second point that comes to my mind is when you talk about the security, the Operation Sindoor phase 1 not being in the having been in the distant past, which took place in the month of May, it has actually thrown open new forms and new contours of security challenges in the subcontinent itself. There is a urgent requirement of the S-400 batteries, which we had paid for, India had paid for in 2018. 3 batteries are there, 2 more are expected, but more are required. Just to simplify the expression for the ease of understanding of the audience, for a country like Israel with a size of 400 kilometers north-south and 140 kilometers east-west, if this be the size of Israel, they require something to the tune of 10 batteries of Iron Dome or the Patriot missile or different kinds of missile systems to block the oncoming missile and neutralize them. For a size of India, which has got a border of 15,500 kilometers, continental border, and the coastline being around 11,090 kilometers, with 1,400 island territories, a huge exclusive zone, economic zone, it requires much more. Therefore, we need to go in for more number of S-400, since the capability of this weapon platform has been battle tested in Indian soil itself during Operation Sindoor, and it was a game changer. It was a force multiplier and bringing about immediate success within 88 hours of the battle or the conflict. Now we need to be futuristic. What else is required for times ahead? Like Sudarshan Chakra has been announced by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi by 2035. Maybe a joint or co-development and co-production of S-500 or any futuristic version of this particular air defense platform will do good, which can be deployed on the ground in 2040 and beyond towards 2047. Coming to Su-57, Su-57, in my opinion, it is the best when you carry out a kind of a cost-benefit analysis. You find that with lesser money, you are getting more payoff or the dividend in comparison with F-35 and such like Rafale and other kinds of. It's a 5th generation equipment, and they are prepared to provide everything on a platter without any strings attached for technology transfer. I don't think any country in the world today would be offering such kind of very benevolent gestures and offers. Technology transfer with no strings attached is a welcome development which India should grab. And similarly, there are other equipments. The spare parts of our inventory also has to be protected. Aerospace engine and the ship engine also has to be developed.
Yes, Major General, unfortunately we're running out of time for that discussion, but we would like to thank Major General Siddharkarji for joining us today and sharing that insight from New Delhi. Thank you very much. Now we move the focus on